Parsons sign on that dotted line. Coming up on Good Friends, Better Rivals. What's good, everybody? Today we are back with another great episode of Good Friends, Better Rivals. Like I said, I am your host, Ferris Villana, but with me, as always, is my right-hand man, the yin to my yang, the evil part of me. The one,
I'm
the
not
only,
any
Caleb
part of you.
Ochoa.
I
How are
don't know
you?
what the hell you're talking about.
You know, like you're like the yang. The
Yeah,
yang, the bad part.
okay. Not any part of you at all.
Okay, good point. Pause. That was a bad choice of words. You're right about that. Um, the yin to my yang, the goose to my
No,
maverick.
we're
Uh,
rivals. Like the title of the show says, we are rivals.
Yeah, we sure, but we've never really done. Yeah, you're right. Hello, gents. What's up, Reg? All right, Caleb, how you doing, man? You doing good?
Yeah, okay. Chilling.
Yeah, yeah. It's March, so you know what that means.
No, not at all.
March Madness. You filled out a bracket,
Heh,
doing the things.
don't watch it at all.
You don't watch March Madness?
Nope, not one bit.
It's like a better's holiday.
That is true. It is really awesome.
Yes.
When it went to go, I've been around during March Madness
Yeah, they had a couple
because
games
I
in
have the sports
Vegas one
books.
year. Yeah.
And it's really awesome, but I don't particularly know anything about any of the teams, so I'm not gonna put my money on something I have no idea about. So yeah, no.
It's a valid point. It's a valid point. My fond memories of March Madness is I got in trouble once in high school. Um, I was in the college and career center. I ended up using four of the computers. It was my period, right? I was the what do you call it, the student assistant
Mhm.
is what I was. I was the student assistant. And you know what? It was after fourth period. Everybody's in class. You know, no one's with us. I decided to use use four of like the 12 computers, and I put four different games on as I was watching them. It's a quiet day, nothing happened. And then the assistant principal walked in and was like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "I'm learning statistics." I lied. I said there quietly. It wasn't a good story, but it was a story. But yeah, around the NFL, nothing's really happening. People are signing auxiliary players on their roster. A backup corner here, a backup defensive lineman here. Trent Brown signed today for I think the Texans. The Texans signed Trent Brown. They did trade Laramie Tunsil, a part of the big free agent moves.
Yeah,
Washington traded for Laramie Tunsil. I believe they got Tunsil a Tunsil, a sixth, and they gave up a second round pick, a fourth round pick, and a fifth. I believe, I don't know where it was, or a sixth was one of them.
Washington is
Um,
doing what the Texans did last year. After they had the good rookie season with their quarterback, they load up with a bunch of free agents, and
uh-huh.
they're literally parallel to what the Texans did. It's what Washington's
That's
doing
what you're
now.
supposed to do. Yeah, because I believe they got Stephon Diggs, Daniil Hunter. They got Laramie Tunsil like what 3 years before that from Miami. This is akin to what I think, Caleb, is the Trent Williams deal in San Francisco. Trent Williams said, "I'm never playing Washington again. Get me out of here. Screw Washington." Guess what the Niners did? They sent Washington like a third, I think. And Trent Williams, it's Trent Williams. It's Trent Williams. At that moment, he was the best left tackle in the game. You know, Washington almost killed him. People underestimate what happened in Washington. They misdiagnosed a tumor in his head. and it was slightly cancerous. So yeah, he's not big fans of the old regime in Washington
Yeah,
that Trent
the new
Williams.
regime, it's different,
Justifiably.
obviously.
Different regime, yes, different regime. I'm saying the old regime. He's not a big fan of the old regime, and justifiable hatred. I think it's justified. Do you think it's justified?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
the
think it's
old
justified.
regime was
Yeah,
everybody hated them, so they were a horrible
yeah, yeah.
organization. They
So
were one of the worst organizations in all of sports.
exactly, and then this is what happens: a regime change, and then they got Jaden Daniels, and just like that, right? It goes back because let's talk about it, right? The big moves around the NFL, really. Let's talk about the big moves first, then we'll talk about the Giants QB thing. Cincinnati changing their ways, in a sense, changing their ways. They re-signed both wide receivers. Both wide receivers are sticking in Cincinnati. Bad move, Caleb. Good move. Move that keeps
Uh,
Joe Burrow happy.
yeah, it does. It does do that, but it does nothing for their team. I don't think it doesn't make them better. I mean, he was there last year, um, and he just gave more money and takes away from the money that they could put on defense, which was their problem last year, that they had no defense, and so
Mm-hmm.
they have to let Henderson's go, or they're wanting to trade him or whatever, because they can't pay him. That just makes your defense
Or
worse.
can they?
I don't know. Maybe
Or
they
can
can.
they?
Maybe they can.
Let's
Um,
be real, Caleb. We're friends with LBHT. Let's be real. Like, is the cap really real? That's the
well,
question.
even with the
Is it
cap,
really
even
real?
whether you think it's not or not, it doesn't matter. The Bengals are cheap, and no matter what.
That's a good point. But we say the Bengals are cheap, and we say the Bengals are cheap, but then they re-signed their two wide receivers,
Yeah. But will they? Like I said,
and
will
they
they
signed
sign
Joe Burrow.
the defensive guy? We'll see. They
Yeah,
they want to trade him. That's what at least that's what's being reported. Um,
yeah, because their
so
other defensive end is retired. Sam Hubbard retired this
yeah,
year.
so their defense
Yeah.
is worse than it was last year, and it was already horrible last year. So
Hmm.
saying if it's a good move or not, the contract's not that bad. It's a lot of incentives for T Higgins. Um, like if he doesn't play, then he doesn't have a lot guaranteed to him because I think he missed
Hmm.
time last year. Um, so he's incentivized to get on the field and play, which is good for obviously for their offense and putting up points and um,
Hmm.
doing what they did last year. But does it make them better? Does it make them a Super Bowl contender now that they paid all these guys? No, because it's not. They're not a better team right now. They're still kind of the
Hmm.
same.
Hmm.
But if it makes Joe
Right,
Burrow
right.
happy,
But
then at least you'll still take it because you still got Joe Burrow.
yeah, you still got Joe Burrow because it goes back to the conversation we'll have a little bit with the Giants. Because the question is always, are you is are you a QB away? Me personally, if you get your QB, you're always a QB away.
But yeah, that's where I could have seen
Everyone's always a QB away.
that's where they like yeah, it might have made them happy, but I think what it made them better is if they put some of that money towards the offensive line. Instead,
Hmm.
you might obviously you always want as much talent around your quarterback as possible, but you also want to protect them. And Joe Burrow, especially Joe Burrow, who's had significant injuries in his career.
Hmm. The ACL, the wrist, it happens. But last year their offensive line was a little banged up, but everyone's coming back healthy. They do have Zeus Brown, and then I believe who's that other big old human being they have? Um, Zeus. I don't know. Who was it? I don't know. I don't remember. What was it? Was it not Dewan Jones? It was who is that man? He's like this massive. Their tackles, like both of their tackles, are like pretty huge. They had Trent Brown. They did,
Mm.
and then they got rid of him. But I remember they had a last year Bengals. Yep, Bengals. 2024 Bengals roster. Thank you. Oh, depth chart. Let me get the depth chart right here. Any other news around the league as I look up the Bengals roster?
Um,
Oh,
their
as Amarius Mims.
oh yeah,
Amarius
young
Mims.
guy.
It was Mims and Orlando Brown. Yeah, who's pretty. I think he's 6'8". Same thing with Orlando Brown. They're very good bookends. They do have Ted Karras. He's still there. Cody Ford is a very good guard. He was in Buffalo. So the offensive line isn't bad. It's very good, but not it's not bad. It's not bad. So you keep your two-star guys, and then wide receiver three has kind of been like I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. They had Tyler Boyd. Now they have Andre Evan Yosavash.
Yeah, I got that.
Uh, Jermaine Jermaine
That's
Burton
what I'm saying.
hasn't
Like,
panned
you
out
you think
because
he could have stepped up into that T Higgins role? Do you think he would have been good enough and they wouldn't have to pay T Higgins?
we will never know. We will never know. Maybe he had a good run last year when T Higgins was
Yeah,
out.
that's what I'm saying. Like
But
more
I was
development, more
yeah,
time.
but it wasn't like.
Yeah, I'm not
But the
saying
thing
he
is, it
was like
wasn't a
spectacular. He wasn't
run.
great
Yeah,
or anything, but like I said, just with
yeah,
development in a whole off season in whatever role they put him in T Higgins' role, could he get developed into at least comparable to what production? Because like I said, T Higgins did get hurt last year, so can you get
yeah. But
just
we have
production
to
wise?
we have
Now,
to.
obviously, you're not going to have the same player, but I'm just saying in terms of just pure production, could you get something that's at least comparable to that for so much lesser of a price?
Well, but we're talking about an injury riddled season for T Higgins. Not
Yeah,
when T Higgins was healthy. A T Higgins healthy thing is also too. The problem with T Higgins is people see him as like, oh, he's a wide receiver too. No, he's only wide receiver two. Is that
well, yeah, I
Jamar
mean,
Chase
he's
is wide
definitely,
receiver
yeah,
one?
like I said, he's a
Yeah,
talent
exactly.
of a
He's
receiver
a
one.
he's a yeah. He's in the draft. He was like the second best receiver in his draft. It's not like it's like that's the problem is it's just that his teammate is Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? It's like the John Taylor. I call it John Taylor syndrome. You know who John Taylor is, Caleb?
49ers receiver.
Yeah, yeah. He was a very good wide receiver. Pretty damn good. But no one cared about him because guess who his teammate was?
Carry Rice.
It was Jerry. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, how good are you compared to Jerry? Like John was pretty good. It's just that Jerry was his teammate. You know what I mean? I go like you want to know someone who got caught like that as well? Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden, wide receiver one on any other team. He just played with Larry Fitzgerald in Arizona.
Yeah,
Everyone looked at Larry. Anquan Bolden was Anquan Bolden. Everyone was like, oh. But then when he left and he went to Baltimore, everyone clearly found out that he was receiver one. And also with Baltimore, too, is, they weren't a very pass heavy team. So when they threw the ball, the catches were more crucial because they needed to throw the ball in those moments to get first downs. And Anquan Bolden was the guy they called. And Anquan Bolden plays for any other team. He's a bona fide, guaranteed Hall of Famer. Numbers are through the roof. Baltimore, some of our Ravens friends, shout out to Reg, and some of them they have accused Ravens ownership to suppress stats. So when they do negotiations with their players, they say, "Oh, but you only had 600 yards receiving here," and they'd be like, "Yeah, that's because you guys wouldn't pass me the ball. Like you did it on purpose." And I've seen certain NFL teams do that. I saw Cincinnati do it with Chad Ochocinco. Ochocinco needed a couple more yards or a couple more catches to get an incentive, and they freeze them out the final 3 games one year. He's talked about it. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. It's not some it's not it's not some secret thing. But if Anquan Bolden plays for anybody else, he has the numbers for Hall of Fame. He's a wide receiver one. It's just that his early parts of his career, he's in Arizona, and Larry Fitzgerald is the guy. And this is what happens with T Higgins. It's always happened. T Higgins was like, I'm receiver one on a lot of these teams. You know,
yeah.
he's receiver one before Malik
But
Neighbors showed
he
up
can he can
on the
have the
Giants.
production, but I think he's happy with being that because the quarterback.
Yes, yes.
So
Because
yeah,
sometimes
you have a
because
great
some
quarterback coach.
players
You'll take that, maybe secondary position.
exactly because some players know the grass isn't always greener. It's not always greener. You leave and you're not as happy. They're like, I'm happy to play with Jamar and Joe in Cincinnati, which is crazy. He wants to stay in Cincinnati, which is, shout out to Cincinnati. Joe Burrow pointed out that they needed to upgrade their food. That's a good shot in the press conference. But, but yeah, like, you want to, because QB can mask a lot of warts. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. But the one wart that you may not be able to mask is like a bad defense, because they're gonna need to score like 50 points a game.
Yeah.
Like 40 points a game. And, they're gonna need to score it, because if we're talking about how how bad the defense is gonna be next year, we're gonna see shootouts in Cincinnati. And you know what? I'm all here for it. Let it roll, baby. Give me an old fashioned a Texas shootout, man. Those old school games where it was like 45, 42, the run and shoots. I don't care. Give me that. But if that's the way you want to win, that's the way you want to win. We'll see about that. Other news around the league.
Yeah, they those rule proposals that they're going to vote on. The Lions proposed
Yes, the
to go
rule.
against the tush push.
No. No.
No, that
The
was the
Packers
Packers.
did
The
that.
Lions did
The Lions, the
did the
divisional, get rid of the
the
divisional
division one.
automatic
Yeah,
playoff game.
yeah.
Yeah. At which one? These two are bullshit. All right, don't ban either. All right.
Well, I do want to ban them
Okay, I'll give you my opinion on
because screw the Eagles. They deserve
the
nothing.
tush push.
Yeah, screw the Eagles. I don't give a shit. I want everything to go against the Eagles. They deserve nothing. They're a scumbag franchise, and if they ban it, ban it. I want them to ban it.
Okay, that's a lot of hatred in the
You're
voice.
goddamn
Respect
right.
it.
A lot of hatred.
Yeah. You're mad that they won 2 Super Bowls before you witnessed one as a grown man. Is that why?
Even besides that,
Yeah.
they're just this horrible. They're a horrible franchise. They're just terrible. They deserve nothing.
Okay. All right. But on that note, let's talk about the real important thing is the Lions are crying that they should ban automatic, home playoff games for divisional winners. This happened when the Saints had to go to Seattle. Remember that year?
Yeah.
Everyone cried about it. Everyone's like, they're 7-9. This is BS. Guess what the Saints did? They lost.
They lost. Yeah, the Seahawks won. That was
They lost. Yeah.
Run.
You're mad at the 7 and you were so mad at the 7-9 team. You kept saying they were trash. You didn't beat them. I'm okay.
Yeah, but they would have beat them if they were at home.
This is gonna happen.
If they were at home without the 12th man, they wouldn't beat them.
But they were 7-9 and they were a bad team. A lot of teams beat them at home. You 7-9. You lost a lot of home games. This happens this happens once in a while, but this doesn't happen a lot. Most divisional winners have great records.
I think it happens like every year.
Most of the time.
Pretty sure it happens every year.
But not at this discrepancy where like it was. I think they won both 14 games and something like that.
And that's I think it at least happens at least once where a division winner has a lesser record.
When every wild card team has a better record than them?
No, not all. I'm just saying at least one game every year has a game where the divisional winner has a lesser record than whoever they're playing.
Yeah, but you want to make the divisions mean something. You don't want to.
They still get a playoff spot.
Yeah, but reward them for winning the division.
That's their reward. No, they get an automatic playoff spot.
Nah, I don't believe that, bro. I don't believe that. Now
you're
crying, bro.
You get a reward. You get a reward.
No, yeah, but okay, but so the other divisional winners.
Yeah, I mean the 7-10 division winner still gets to go in the playoffs, even though they probably don't deserve to.
But they go on the road.
Yes, they go on the road.
What's the point? But then what the point is you winning your division? So just get rid of the division.
You wouldn't have been in the playoffs anyways. That's the point.
But you won your division, so like
that's what I'm saying.
Not my fault. Our division.
You get in the playoffs.
So get rid of the divisions then.
Why would you get rid of the divisions? You still get a reward.
But the divisions don't matter because that's literally the reward. The reward is you get a home playoff game.
Yeah, but
get rid of the divisions.
Reward,
so just strip the home part.
Just lessening the reward. You still get a reward. You still get the playoff game.
But you gotta go on the road.
Yeah, if you have a lesser record.
So you become So it's fourth. You
Yeah,
become the seventh seed.
yeah, you basically are a 7 seed. Yeah, I don't see anything
Basically the
wrong with
seventh
that.
seed.
Even though a team can have a better record, like the 8th seed, could have a better record than you, but they're not in the playoffs.
Okay, but then the eighth seed is gonna be like, this is bullshit. Then we have to
Why would
talk
it be
about it
bullshit?
again.
That's what I'm saying. The
Because they'll be
division
like,
still matter. Then you should have won more games in your division. So your division still matters. That's what I'm saying.
Alex, my main man, Armada Ferris, what do you think of Daniel Indiana Jones joining the Colts? Good or bad move? It's punishment,
It's
Alex,
horrible
for
move,
beating us. It's a
but
horrible move. He's not a very good quarterback.
no, he's a
It's
terrible move.
punishment. It's a punishment for you guys not beating us that last week that we needed you guys to win. Falling at, it's your fault. We're the third pick. So this is punishment. Let me see last year's playoff.
Yeah, which it just really just I couldn't believe like how many like teams even were considering taking him. Like, did you not see how he played with the Giants? He was a bad quarterback. Why are you so wanting to sign a bad quarterback so quickly?
Yeah. So that's the question. Will Joe Burrow come back? Joe Flacco, maybe, maybe not. We don't know. Possibly. Joe Flacco's in. We'll talk about it in a bit. Joe Flacco's actually in. Joe Flacco is a part of a contingency of possibly going to the New York Giants. We'll see about that. It won't tell me the records. I'm trying to see the records of these. Trying to find the records. Give me the records, man. Trying to find the records. Because I think it was only like Minnesota that had the better record. You know? So yeah, let's see. Okay, so Detroit was 15-2. So yeah, Minnesota had to go to LA. And guess what happened in Minnesota?
They lost.
Got beat down 27-9.
Yeah, it
So
could have been
like,
different if they were at home.
man, maybe, I don't know. It's a coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's whatever. All right. I don't think any other. Okay, do you want to talk about the trades that happened?
There was one more rule
Alex,
change.
wonder where Anthony Richardson will go, whether he'd be number 2 for the course or somewhere else. I think with him, some people are still haven't gotten over the fact that he basically decided to quit during it. Well, he took himself out for a play, and then he went back in the game.
Yeah.
So does that happen a lot of times where you take somebody out and go?
Not the quarterback.
But he took himself out.
Supposed to play. Never supposed to get out of the game.
Yeah. So that's what threw everybody off. He wanted a breather.
You can't have a breather as a quarterback. You need to be in there.
Yeah. That's the nature of the beast of the position you play. But some people still are giving him flack for this. So I don't know if you guys have fully given up on him. But what do you expect from a dude who's only played 24 football games in 2 years before you drafted him? You know what I mean? So
he probably should start as a number 2. I think that'd be probably best for him just to sit, develop a little bit. He's still young enough to develop.
Yeah, he's only. I think he's only 22.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see anything wrong with him. Just
most quarterbacks get drafted at 22.
And
so,
just like Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young sat for a little bit, and then after he was sat for a little bit, developed, watched for a little bit, you saw what happened. He got a little bit better.
Yep. So, you said there's one more rule change outside the 2 we talked about?
Yeah, there was. They wanted to take away the first down on holding, on defensive holding. They wanted to take away. You get how you get an automatic first down from defensive holding. You get the 5 yards, you get an automatic first down. They said they want to remove the first down. Amazing. So there's no automatic.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking about it. Is that a good idea?
Probably not, because then you could just keep holding.
Yeah.
There's no incentive not to just keep holding.
Yeah, because offensive holding punishes you. They punish you. It's 10 yards.
Yeah.
It's a punishment. It's a massive punishment. None bigger than pass interference where it's a spot foul, an automatic first down, which I think makes sense more, right? Because if you take me down 15 yards down the field, that's where we should then
Hmm.
that's where we should go. I think college does 15 yards from the scrimmage line. I think
Yeah,
college does that.
just
They don't
15.
do a spot foul. Yeah, they don't do a spot foul like the NFL. The NFL does a spot foul.
Because they're
Um,
trying to. Well, I agree with the NFLs because in college, if you're gonna get beat, you might as well just 15 yards. I mean, that's better than a touchdown.
exactly, and you can just tackle someone down the field when
You might
let's
as
say
well.
it's
I
a
mean,
yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you. I agree. I think the NFL got the pass interference thing correct. Then the college
well, they
doesn't.
still could replace pass interference. That's the only thing I would add.
What do you mean
Or
replace pass interference?
you could challenge pass interference.
Oh no, no, they did. But guess what
I know
happened,
they
Caleb?
did, and they stopped doing it, but I think you should.
You know why they did?
Uh,
People don't talk about it, but you know why they did?
why?
The refs didn't listen.
Oh yeah. Well,
They just
there was like a small percentage of the time that they did change it. It was very
Yeah,
very
exactly.
small.
They just didn't listen. They didn't care.
But that's what I'm
And there
saying.
was times, yeah, the refs had too much power. They're like, we just won't listen to the mandate. We won't
That's
do
why
it.
I like it. Like for something that UFL does do right is that you can see that process of them challenging.
Hmm.
How you had the officiating guy going through and talking to the
The
refs.
sky judge, the sky
Yeah,
judge.
you actually see that whole process during the UFL games. I wish
Yeah,
they would do that in
I,
the
I like
NFL.
I like the I like the UFL games process of that. I gotta give the UFL a second chance. I gotta give them a second chance. But the Canadian Football League did that. They implemented that years ago. The Canadian Football League, where you can challenge pass interference, and the refs. I remember I was watching a Canadian football game one day. Don't ask why, but I was. Sometimes the games are pretty cool. It was a blatant pass interference. Just they didn't throw the flag. Coach throws the flag, challenges it. Guess what the ref does? Call reverse pass interference, 15 yards. Like people think refs think that we're gonna kill them if they make a mistake. But if you make a mistake, then you fix it. I don't care because you fixed it.
Even if it's just review and it's still a mistake, at least you reviewed it.
Yeah, because in that moment, if it's like really tight, yeah, then it's really tight. But sometimes the obvious stuff you don't fix. That's what pisses people off. The really obvious stuff are like, bro, like we're just ignoring it. That's when fans get mad at refs. We know this is a hard job. You're watching a game with men who run at 4.4 speeds like this, inches. And 9 times out of 10, the ref's like 75 years old. So I'm expecting a 75-year-old watching an NFL game to get every call right. No. But when you mess up, you review it, you fix it, I don't care. But they purposely didn't reverse any pass interference call that was challenged that year. Because the refs knew, because of the ref lockout, they have power. They have so much power. The famous Fail Mary, where that incident,
Yeah.
it just gave them so much power, in negotiations. All right, we got Reg in the chat. The NFL had it where you could challenge pass interference for that 1 year and got rid of it because they said it slowed the game down. It didn't slow the game down. The refs just didn't listen. They just purposely just didn't do their job. The game's already slow. Do you know, Caleb? Caleb, you want me to tell you how much actual football we watch during a football game? You want me to tell you? Someone literally tracked this, and we watch only 15 minutes of action.
Really?
We watch 15 minutes of football, but we sit on our asses watching a game for 3.5 hours. But we only watch 15 minutes of football.
Like the plays, like they added up all the time of the plays.
Like the football, like the football. It's only 15 minutes.
Well,
We only
plays are
watch
usually
15
like,
minutes of it.
yeah, I mean, a long play is like only like 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. We only watch 15 minutes of football, bro. What
Well, I
my
mean,
biggest issue is.
yeah, that's true. I
You
mean,
know
there's
what?
the
My,
anticipation of like the pre-snap of where they're
Mhm.
they're calling out
We're
the
just we're, we're
motion.
just watching. We're just watching them stand there. They're just
Well, they're
standing
not
there. They're
exactly.
just
I mean, they're
standing there like
switching.
this.
They're looking at they're reading the plays. You're doing audibles, and I would count that as
But they're
action,
still,
even though they're not actually snap the ball yet. I would count that as action as well.
yeah, I get it. But okay, fine. You know, 16 minutes then.
I don't know if it's, I
16
think it's a
minutes.
little more
16
than
and a
that,
half.
but
A little more than that. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like 17 minutes. I'll give you 17 minutes. We're watching 17 minutes of action. 17 minutes. We watch a football game for 3 hours and we only watch 17 minutes of action. You know what I mean? Not including replays, Alex. Not including replays. Just the football we watch. Like 17 minutes, bro. So don't tell me about slowing the game down. There's not enough game to slow down. My biggest pet peeve is when they kick off and then they go straight to commercial. Why?
because
Why?
only the advertisement is telling you
No,
have to.
exactly, Gabe. Exactly. That's the problem. I know what the problem is. That pisses me off because they're reducing the presentation of the game. Because back in the day, they would kick it off and they would cut to the quarterback jogging on the field and be like, "Here comes to on the field Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is 4-0 this season with," and then you would see him in the huddle, and then the announcer had to tell like a little story about Peyton, and then Peyton then would get on the field, and then he would get in the huddle, be like blah 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 blah, spider two wide banana Omaha nationwide chicken parm on two hike, and then you would see the pageantry. But now it's kickoff straight to commercial. QB's already under center.
Which sucks because if you pay for the NFL ticket, you shouldn't be getting any commercials. Like we're already paying to watch the product.
You
Like
should get the
I don't
live
understand why they're so.
uninterrupted feed.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand why we have to watch commercials. We're already paying you, so why do you have to get paid again by the advertisers?
It's like what YouTube does, Caleb. YouTube advertisers pay YouTube to advertise on YouTube. Then YouTube tells you, "Do you want ads?" And you say, "No, I don't want ads." So then you pay YouTube to not have ads. So they get you, the person who doesn't want ads, and they get ad money from the ad people. So they double dip. But no one talks about that. That's why I got rid of YouTube Premium because I'm like, nah, I'm not falling for this BS. I'm not doing this. All right. I had it for a year and then I cut it off because I'm like, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. Nonsense. All right, but all right, let's talk about the other nonsense in the I can't believe we just had an entire rant about NFL game presentation. Um, the biggest question, like we said, is a team a QB away? Every team in the NFL is a QB away from being competitive, or being good. A QB can hide a lot of warts, can really dictate a team. Teams can be a QB away. That's because someone asked, "Are the Giants a QB away?" The Giants are a
Hell
QB
no.
away. If we had a Q, well, I literally just said everybody's a QB away, and you said nothing. But then I say the Giants are a QB away, and you
Well,
say
not the
no.
Giants. The
Well, so what
Giants.
is it?
Well,
See, now you're just
Giants are
lying.
not.
Now you're just lying. Now you're just
Oh,
lying.
QB
No,
away
now you're
from
just
doing
lying.
what? What are they? What
You
is it? QB do? You didn't specify what their
no,
QB away from doing.
yes, I did specify. I said every
From winning a
team's a
Super
QB
Bowl?
away from being. No, no, not. I said just competitive.
Okay.
Not a Super
Okay.
Bowl. Not a Super Bowl.
What's competitive?
Competitive.
What was that? Does
You
that
know,
mean?
you know, you know,
Does
trying
that
to
mean
fight for
make
the
the playoffs?
playoffs.
Okay. If
Yeah,
the minimum
fighting for
is
the.
make the playoffs, then okay, I can agree with
Yeah,
that.
exactly. No, they're fighting for the playoffs. Make the playoffs on here an
Okay, I can
occasion.
agree with that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like everyone's a QB away. Everybody's a QB away in a sense. You got lucky, Caleb, when Tony Romo broke his back. You struck gold with a fourth round pick.
Yeah.
Because trust me, if you struck gold. Let's say you didn't have
We
Dak
got
Prescott
lucky
on the
before
roster.
that with an undrafted Romo.
Exactly. Like so shout out to your scouting department, which was just amazing, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'm
That was
saying.
another.
Everyone's
That
kind of
was
a
actually Sean Payton, and then after that, that was I don't know.
oh, because wasn't Sean Payton? No, wasn't Sean Payton the starting quarterback of the college he went to?
Yeah.
Because Jimmy Garoppolo also went to that college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Western Illinois or something. I don't
Eastern
know what it
Illinois.
was. Eastern Illinois, yeah, them. Yeah, so I think the Giants are a QB away from being competitive. Like, did everyone think Washington was a QB away?
Yeah. From at least doing something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just like the Giants, they're at least doing something, right? Jaden Daniels came in and changed the Commanders like that. Like that. Playoffs. They won a playoff game. They beat the number one
What
seed.
back then? Back when they had RG3, just as soon as they got RG3, bam, they went to the playoffs.
Yeah. Good old RG3. Good old RG3. But I digress.
Even with Kirk
But
Cousins,
yeah,
they went to the playoffs with Kirk Cousins. I mean,
exactly. Everyone's a QB away. Everybody's a QB away to be competitive. The Giants are a QB away from being competitive. They have a star receiver. Um, Offensive line, is got better. It's not the best. It's not the worst in the NFL anymore, but it got better in a sense.
is it not?
When
It's still pretty
when
ass.
when everyone when no when everyone got hurt, like when Jermaine and Andrew Thomas got hurt with Greg Van Roten, when they had to start Evan Neal, it went back to being a bad offensive line. When the starters went out, of course, we don't have enough depth on there to keep the quality depth, not just depth, quality depth, because you can have multiple people. They're just bodies. They're not really doing anything. The defense, it was the year one in a different scheme. Bobby Okereke was injured. He played with a foot fracture, but apparently they want to get rid of Bobby Okereke, which is stupid. But I digress. They're run by morons.
I mean,
But
the
yeah,
problem with the defense is the DBs. The DBs were completely awful all the way around.
yeah.
Safeties, corners, they were all terrible, garbage.
We spent money this year on Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland to up that game. But the real question is now is the waiting game for the quarterback, because you have Aaron Rodgers out there who met with the Giants. Russell Wilson has met with the Giants. Someone else met with the Giants that Giants fans got mad of. I
Rodgers.
don't. I don't. No. It wasn't Rodgers. It was like a third QB. I don't know what it was, but he probably doesn't matter. So it's basically Aaron or Russ. Aaron or Russ. One story says Russ is ready to sign, and the Giants are waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Diana Rossini said on the Dan Patrick Show, she said that the Giants are waiting for Russ or Aaron to sign, which means that both QBs are still thinking about it because they also met with Pittsburgh. Russ, is he coming back to Pittsburgh or is he, going to New York? So the Giants have met with Aaron has met with Pittsburgh and the Giants. Russ has also met with Pittsburgh and the Giants. Cleveland is in the mix for Russ. The Giants have also spoken with Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco. So there's 4 quarterbacks at play in here. But then you also have the key of the 3rd overall pick for the Giants.
Well,
If
you could. I don't think any of those guys will not make you take a QB if one of those top 2 are still there.
No, exactly, right? So like if we get Jameis or Aaron or Russ or Joe, we're still if Shador or Cam is there at 3, we're taking them. I think if Shador's at 3, we're taking him because people have overthought this. The Giants literally were at every single Colorado Buffaloes game for the past 2 years. The New York Giants have. Brandon Brown was always near Colorado. You don't do that unless you actually like the prospect, because you're wasting valuable time to recruit someone you don't even like. You don't do that. You don't send your assistant GM to do that, because your assistant GM is your right hand man and he handles the business. Him and also Chris Rosati, director of college scouting, or is he the director of pro player scouting? I don't know. I don't not. So, but Brandon Brown was there at Colorado every other week, almost every week for the past 2 years. But if you don't like him like that, if Shador's there at 3, Caleb, Shador Sanders is becoming a New York Giant. I'm guarantee you that. If Shador's there at 3, Shador Sanders is a Giant. Guaranteed. Book it. Because these guys are very bad smoke people. They can't, trying to smoke signals, trying to over here. No. Sometimes they tell the truth. People think Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll liked each other. Brian Daboll couldn't hide his hatred for him. You could see it on his face, especially Hard Knocks. That's why no one wants to do Hard Knocks offseason anymore, because they said Daniel Jones is coming back, and Brian Daboll's in his suit sitting on the couch, pissed off. He couldn't hide it. He couldn't hide it. He hated the dude. He hated the dude. He's like, I don't like him. He's not a good quarterback. He did not like the dude, bro. You could see it in his face. He sucked at hiding it. And you could see it in Brandon Brown's face too, where Joe Shane is trying to pitch Daniel Jones to them. You remember that scene where he's like, oh, Daniel's the guy. Well, and Brandon Brown and Brian Daboll are like, they just weren't believing the bullshit. They just weren't believing it. He was lying. He was lying. So that's what happened. We're waiting. Literally, we're waiting. We're waiting for Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. That's what we're doing. We're waiting. But on a more important news, a more younger franchise cornerstone type pick, the second topic of today's show is, will Micah Parsons sign? Exactly, Shug. That's how they were on the show, Shug. That's how they were on the show. They were like this. He's telling them about Daniel Jones, and they were just like this. They didn't believe a single word coming out of his mouth. Zero. Nothing. But again, more important news, will Micah Parsons sign his extension? Is it even on the table, Caleb?
Well, that depends on what reporter you're believing, because there's multiple reports with different stories. One reporter says that they're in talks, they're close, they can sign at any time. Another reporter says no, they just got started negotiating. They're not close, and this could take a while. So yeah, we have no idea which report to actually believe. I probably believe the second report more, just because that's just how the Cowboys have done business for the past however many years. Just because with the Dak deal, they waited. With the CD deal, they waited, and that's all a result because they paid Ezekiel Elliott early, and that blew up in their face, and that all of a sudden, decide that made them to not sign anybody early anymore, which is what they should have done with Dak, which is what they should have done with CD, is pay them earlier because you're going to pay less. But so you should have paid Micah earlier because you were going to pay less. But no, you're going to sit there and you're going to wait and wait and wait until the price goes higher and higher and higher, like it already has done, because you've seen the Myles Garrett deal bumped up the price, and whoever else gets signed, or the Max Crosby deal before that was signed, just kept bumping up the price. So you keep waiting and waiting. It doesn't get better. I don't understand why they do business this stupidly. It doesn't get better because you wait. It gets worse. So might as well do it early. Like, I just don't get why I understand, like, it really hurt them that bad that they messed up on the Zeke deal, that they can never do a deal early anymore. Like, I just don't understand why they just don't get these deals early. It'll benefit them in the long run, because it'll be cheaper than than waiting and waiting and waiting. So yeah, I believe the second reporter, because it's just how we do it. We wait forever and until the last minute, and then right before the season he'll be signed.
Yeah, because like we said, with Cincinnati, their social media team dropped a video talking about how y'all thought we weren't going to sign T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and everyone just responded with, you guys signed them too late. Y'all could have had them at a cheaper deal 2 years ago, than it is now, because that's how it is, man. The deals previously set the bar for the deals in the future. It's like, sometimes the best player isn't always the highest paid player in the NFL. Just ask the QB position. Matthew Stafford was the highest paid QB in the NFL for a couple years. Was he the best QB in the NFL for those years? Absolutely not. Tom Brady was. You know what I mean? And let's not act like Tom Brady didn't get his money. He did. He just, got it in other ways, like bonuses and, spread out payments and, all that. That's why I don't truly believe the cap being real. That's why I truly don't believe it, because, let's say like, oh, he's $10 million against the cap. but you gave him $20 million in a signing bonus. You know what I mean? Like, and
Well, the signing bonus doesn't count against the cap.
exactly, that's how they move. That's how they maneuver around it. It's not truly real, in a sense. It's not truly real, you know. So there's that. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Any other big news coming out of Dallas, or
Yeah, yeah,
technically
we have,
Arlington?
obviously we have a situation at backup quarterback, um, with Cooper Rush going to the Baltimore Ravens. Um,
That was
it
nasty work by the Ravens.
leaves us without a backup QB, and whatever you want to think about Cooper Rush. I mean, he's been good for us, at least in his backup role.
He did
Uh,
his job.
yeah, he did
He
what a
did his
backup's supposed
job.
to do. He comes
Yeah.
in, he wins some games.
Yes.
And I mean, he did that, and all the way back, since I don't know 2021, he won a game against the Vikings. 2022, Dak misses a few games. He comes in, he wins like 4 games in a row. Um,
You beat Philly, didn't you beat Philly?
no,
Or
he
Philly
lost.
beat you? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that was
lost.
the one game he lost that year. But he went 4-1 that season. Comes in again. Dak gets hurt. Comes in. He wins like 3 or 4 games this year. Um, So yeah, he's been good. He's been a good backup. He's been one of the best backups in the league to me, because he comes in there, he knows the system, and he wins games. I mean, obviously he's not a great talented quarterback. That's why he's a backup, because it's very very inaccurate. One thing I did like about him, that he did throw a nice deep ball. I think that was probably the best thing about him. But otherwise, he was extremely inaccurate. But yeah, so now we're without. Now he signs with Ravens. We don't have one. So what we got? Will Greer as the other quarterback on the roster. We have Dak coming off the injury. So we don't even know how he's looking going into the off season, into those off season workouts and whatnot. So I'm not sure what his if it'll be limited in those practices. So who's going to throw who's going to be running the offenses during those practices if
Mhm.
that can't go. I think that's an important position for us to know what the hell is going on with backup quarterback. Um, so especially when you see Dak, having these major injuries twice now. He had one in 2020. He's had one now just this past year. So backup quarterback for the Cowboys is really important. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. We haven't signed anybody yet. Um, we obviously Trey Lance is still out there, free agency. Don't
Mhm.
know if we really want him back. I don't, because I don't think he's very good at all. But I think what they're probably going to do is, get a guy in the draft. I think we should go pretty high in the draft to get a backup quarterback. Honestly,
Second round.
maybe if that's what it takes.
But who are we aiming for?
Uh, it depends. Maybe yeah, it really depends on what goes on in the first round. Like if Jackson Dart's still there,
Probably not.
that's what I'm saying. So it probably wouldn't be worth it. I would see maybe in third round, maybe third, fourth, whatever you think. Maybe
The Texas Tech guy. People are big fans of him. I think Tyler Shote
yeah, whoever like the 4 and 5 quarterback is, uh,
Walker Howard.
you know,
Will,
uh,
oh, Will Howard. Will Howard. Walker
yeah,
Howard is the.
a guy I would say a guy who has a lot of experience in college, who's been in college,
Tyler Shoot. Yeah, the
because
Texas Tech
because
kid.
you're gonna be in a backup role immediately. So I want a guy that probably has a lot of experience in college. Um, Quinn Ewers is not a bad option.
Well, he may
Uh,
be in the. Yeah, that's true. He may fall.
yeah, so I wouldn't mind him, because he's been around. He's been in college for like 4 years, so
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind that either. So it just depends on what quarterback is still left in there, but I think that's an important problem that we haven't really addressed yet.
Hello, you got it. You back?
Yeah, are you freezing or am I freezing? I can't tell who's freezing. Can the chat say who's freezing?
Uh, I think I'm freezing. I think it's me.
Okay, I think you're good now.
I think I'm good. All right. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, really. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Kind of froze at the end of the topics, really. Nothing really much to go on, but I ain't got no more Giants news. That's pretty much all the Giants news I got. You know,
10 minute WWE.
I didn't watch. I
Well,
didn't. I
I
didn't.
didn't watch.
I didn't watch.
Well, you should have watched because John Cena finally did a great promo. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw clips of that. I saw clips of that. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen John Cena do a great promo. At least none of them that are memorable to me because I don't really like him. So maybe some other fan that really likes John Cena has probably has a more memorable one. But for me, I've always thought him as corny in his promos. That's why I've never really liked any of them. But this one, him as he'll see,
About the one where he like eviscerated The Rock during their feud.
I didn't really like it. I didn't even I barely watched. I mean, I watched the matches at WrestleMania, but I didn't really care. I didn't watch regularly during that time because I didn't like John Cena. I mean, that was a big part of why I was stopped watching WWE during that time because it was basically Cena's show. It was the Cena
Mm,
show, and I couldn't stand it
yeah.
because I really don't like John. That's how much I don't like John Cena. But I did like him here. I did like him in this promo. He came out, he basically told off all the fans, and it was really good. He said all the fans were expected too much from him, and like fans like me, even he won and won and won, and I just hated him for it. He was correct, and he went at the fans that supported him and said, "Oh, yeah, you wear all my merch, but you don't actually live these words on the shirt. I do, and yeah, and it was good. It was really good. I thought the whole thing was that was basically the whole Raw. I don't think there was really that much memorable stuff on the rest of the Raw, even though they had like a championship match of the Intercontinental title between Braun Breaker and Finn Balor, but you knew Finn Balor was going to lose because he always loses. Um, but it did set up Finn Balor versus, I mean, not Finn Balor, Braun Breaker versus Penta, which I think is going to be really good.
Yeah.
I'd be excited for that because I really like Braun Breaker, big fan of him. And
Didn't
yes,
Io Sky? Didn't Io Sky slap both of the women?
oh yeah, that was the other big thing that happened on Raw was the three they were signing the contracts, and then Rhea, comes in and just signs her name, and basically that makes her in the match because she signed her name on a contract that doesn't have her in the match. So
Mm-hmm.
apparently you can do that now. You just sign your name
Guess so.
and you're in a
I
match.
guess so. I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Bianca Belair's never lost at WrestleMania.
Didn't, oh well, you told me that last
Oh, I
week.
did. Oh, my bad. Sorry. My apologies. I'm out here tripped up. All right, but yeah. I guess nothing happened on SmackDown. I guess.
What did happen on SmackDown? I don't even remember SmackDown that much. Um, what did happen? I think. Oh yeah, that was a Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair like got into a rumble. Like it lasted a long time. It even lasted until the Miz's segment, and it was still going on. They were still kicking each other's ass. I thought that had a little bit to it. It was a little bit better than what they've been given. Hyped it up a little bit more going into WrestleMania, so that was good. Um, Other stuff on SmackDown. I can't. Yeah, it was Cody Rhodes was on there for a little bit, just kicked Mrs. ass basically, and um,
LA Knight won the U.S. title, right?
that I think that was a week before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't really know,
LA Knight. Yeah. That's my
but
guy.
yeah, I think they just try to progress more that we're gonna get Damian Priest versus McIntyre.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, I think I saw a video of McIntyre. He's whooping Priest's butt, and he's like, "This is your fault.
yeah,
I should be going for the title,
he
and
basically
you
he got
ruined
it.
it."
He had a good year last year because he was in a lot of title matches and he won the
Yeah.
title obviously. Um, and it was Damian Priest who came in and kind of screwed him over every single time. But It was honestly in all those clips. It was CM Punk in the background that screwed him too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you're
Yeah.
gonna blame anybody, because you can blame CM Punk, but obviously he's in a different you know triple threat match with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
I want Seth
So
Rollins to win that.
you want Seth Rollins to win that?
Yeah, because that's my guy, man. I love Seth Rollins. Someone showed me a clip of old Seth Rollins where before he destroyed his entire legs, his ligaments, where he was doing suicide dive after suicide dive, and he was moving and grooving. Man, I was like, man, Seth Rollins is my guy, man. I love Seth Rollins. I think he's one of the most underappreciated, underrated wrestlers of this generation. I honestly think people don't give him the credit he deserves. People are so enamored with Roman Reigns, either hating him or loving him, that people completely forgot about Seth Rollins and the heist of the century and all the things he does. And then you have the people who are non WWE fans always shit on him and be like, whatever, Seth Rollins. We prefer Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega or like those people. And I was like, nah, bro, y'all they can't do what Seth does because they're given time in matches. Kenny Omega's given an hour to wrestle Okada. He was given an hour in Wrestle Kingdom. Seth
Hmm.
Rollins, they'd be like, "Yo, you got 15 minutes, bro. You got 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You got 15 minutes. You got 10 minutes. You got 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, imagine Seth Rollins having to plan like an hour match. Integrated spots. Good old heel hooks and all that stuff. My favorite thing was all too is like, man, he ain't afraid to talk shit. Seth
And
Rollins.
even long match. I mean, you don't have to have a long match. You can have a good 5 minute. I've seen examples of 5 minute matches that were like extremely good. They were extremely
Yeah.
exciting. They were going back and forth, and they had really good
But people
wrestling.
overthink them, right? But people overthink the 5 minutes, right? If they an hour, all their thoughts can be fit within the hour. But the 5 minute thing, you can't do all your thoughts. You gotta keep it short and bang bang. You know what I mean? Why do you think every time someone comes back, they send Seth Rollins out there? Because they know he will carry with them, man. Like
Well,
Cody Rhodes' torn pectoral match. If he's not with Seth Rollins, it could have been bad. I know he said, "Oh, it was already worse," but you still need a wrestler to protect you, and that's what
mm,
Seth does on occasion. My favorite thing is like when he always he talks smack to Will Ospreay all the time, calling Will Ospreay a broke ass B word, and it's like it's hilarious when well, according to Adelia, Will Ospreay is no longer that broke ass B word, but I'm gonna still say that because of my boy Seth Rollins. Shout out to my boy Seth Rollins.
Ryan says hating on AEW fans.
Well, I can't. What do you mean? I don't see that. What do you mean?
That's what Ryan says.
I guess I can't see the chat.
Ryan
I mean,
says, "Well, hating on AEW fans, Ferris."
let me bring up the chat up here because the chat the chat up in here is
I don't know how to bring it up. I keep clicking on it. Won't
no, yeah,
change.
no, my shit's frozen, so
No,
I
I
got
don't
I
know.
got
I don't know how to do it. It just I click on
I
it.
got I got to do it. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I got to do it. Yeah. Um.
Um.
Hey guys, what's up, Leo? I'm just catching up on the chat. Nah, he told her it didn't matter that he signed.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Jay? However, she attacked them both again, so it's gonna end up being a triple anyway. Seth Rollins is this generation's Shawn Michaels. Ryan, whoa, hating on AEW fans. He's like, no, I'm not hating on them. I'm just pointing out.
I
That. Yeah,
mean, I'll hate on them. I mean, they always act like, oh, we have the best wrestling. I've seen a ton. I've seen a ton of clips of crap, horrible wrestling on AEW.
no, yeah, no wrestling promotion has all great wrestling. It just
And
never has.
also, I don't care if they have all great matches if you don't have any good stories or good characters.
The crux of pro wrestling. You need
I,
to care. You
yeah,
need to care.
exactly. If I don't care, why do I give a shit? It's oh, you have the best
Yeah.
wrestling.
I generally think some of the AEW wrestlers are sleepwalking. Like I generally don't understand what Daniel Bryan's doing anymore. Like what is he doing? He literally just grabbing the check and just living his life. I think also too like that's what some WWE wrestlers are doing. Like they're fine being auxiliary talent. They get a good paycheck. They fill up the screens and they're fine. That's why I think Finn Balor ain't tripping. You know what I mean? Finn
but
Balor
he
ain't.
loses every
Yeah,
single match.
yeah. But and then when that direct deposit hit, he's like, "Cool me."
But
You know what I mean?
it's been like that since Edge beat him.
He should have beat Edge. He should
Yeah,
have
he
beat
should
Edge.
have beat Edge. Like, how do you
Yeah.
have his demon persona come out and then he loses that? You're not supposed to lose in that persona. And
And then
then
you fire Edge.
I know that's the stupidest part. Like,
Yeah.
that Edge wasn't gonna be there long term. So
Yeah.
why would you not give the younger guy, who you can who's gonna be there for a lot longer? Why would you not give him the win?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. But I digress. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Yeah, my internet's all messed up, so I can't see your comments anymore. I had to bring up the YouTube chat. Thank you all the Giants fans. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. We actually gained 2 more subscribers, man. So now we're at 212. We're at 212. Oh, they didn't fire Edge.
No,
He
they
asked to
just knew
leave.
that he wasn't gonna sign back with them.
Yeah, exactly. If you knew that, then why'd you even? Yeah, exactly. Like, you have an inclination of like, is he coming back? That's why you don't waste stuff on people that are not coming back. But I digress. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. We're at 212 subscribers now. So thank you guys so much for that. Next time, if you want to, I just realized something, we do have kind of like a Streamlabs. I need to fix my camera, where you can go to Ko-Fi on our Ko-Fi page and you can make a one-time donation on the Ko-Fi page. We fixed the animation, so now when you donate, the animation is gonna pop up. But I didn't turn on that camera, so it's not gonna pop up now. I'll fix it for next week. I'll turn it on for next week. You can make a one-time donation on Ko-Fi to get your comments read, or you can keep making donations, or you can join one of the multitude of tiers that we have on Ko-Fi as well. But on that note, everyone, as well as the Discord is open to the public, so hit that Discord. There's a Discord link is in the description. So hit that like button. Join the Discord. It's free. It's for the public. We do have a bunch of smart stuff, but appreciate your support. But Caleb, where can people find you, my man?
You can find me NFLK22 on Instagram and Twitter /X. And you can find me on this channel every Friday, 3 o'clock.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day. And guess what? It's March Madness, baby. Make sure those brackets are nice. Mine aren't. It's already busted.
It's only been one day.
I know, it's already busted.
You suck.
You don't even do it.
So?
Then you shut up then.
Well, I'm just saying.
I picked the wrong 12-5 matchup. I chose Memphis to win. Colorado State beat them. I chose Liberty to beat Oregon, but I think I messed up, and I think Oregon's going to beat Liberty because, yeah, I didn't pick McNeese State. I should have picked McNeese, but I just had more hope for Clemson because Clemson beat Duke. But Clemson was very bad. Clemson almost won too because they came back. They only lost by 1, so they came back. So I was kind of right, but then I was kind of wrong. The Colorado State game was very close till the very end. It's only by like 2 points, and then Colorado State opened up a 10-point lead, and then they won. And I'm like, oh, come on, man, this is bonkers BS. But I got a lot of the other stuff right. I did get the Texas A&M game wrong. That game was pretty bad. I thought Yale was gonna beat them because I don't trust Texas A&M, but Yale lost because Yale tends to beat teams like that. But I guess Yale couldn't do it this year. But on that note, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.